96.9 KDLO Country. This is John, and that is Taylor. And we welcome in this morning country music legend, Jim Ed Brown. Good morning, Mr. Brown.
Good morning, John. It's not Mr. Brown now. That was my dad. I'm Jim Ed, and, hey, you know what? I introduced Taylor Swift the first time on the Grand Ole Opry. You believe that?
Really?
Yes, I did.
I'll be darned.
In fact, every time they come out there, she comes by and says hi, and her dad comes in my dressing room, and we sit down and chat a while, and he tells me all about Taylor. And what a great gal she is, isn't she?
Well, that's the best I could find open for you on the show this morning was Taylor. So
I'll tell you what, it sure is nice to have Taylor Swift opening for me.
Oh, mercy.
Jim Ed, what a great day it is down here in Tennessee.
Well, now, wait a minute. I talked to my cousins up in Knoxville. They said it's a little cold over the weekend. Is the temperatures?
Well, it's cold, but, I've learned to take whatever the man upstairs sends us.
And be grateful, be thankful, whatever it might be.
Yes, exactly right. And as long as I'm inside and warm, how can I complain?
We're talking with Jim Ed Brown this morning on KDLO. Jim Ed is coming to our area here in a week or so. Actually, I think that first weekend of November, right?
Yes, sir. Going to be up there. I think it's the 2nd, isn't it?
Going to be in Sisseton on the 2nd.
November the 2nd. Mm-hmm.
And November 1st on that Friday night, they've got you booked over in Redfield. Is that right?
Yes, sir. In Redfield, and then on Sunday I'm in Parker. But right now I'm looking forward to Sisseton because I've never been to there. I've never been there before.
Really?
No, but you know what? There's a first time for everything, right?
First time for everything, and we're gonna get your first time in Sisseton on November 2nd. By golly!
And you know what? Guess who's going to be with me?
Now that's the thing I wanted to find out because it's been promoted as just Jim Ed Brown and friends.
Well,
and I was hoping you could tell me who was coming with you, buddy.
How about if we just wait until about the end of the show?
Okay, let's hang on.
You might want to talk more about her than me.
I've run into those situations before. Yes, sir.
You know what? I have too.
Hey, Jim Ed, how did you get started in music, brother?
Well, I got started with my sister, Maxine, and I. Actually, we wrote a song called "Looking Back to See," which was the first song that we wrote together. And also the first song that we recorded, and that got us started. You know what? It really got us started good because a lot of people recorded it, and it was a big song on the charts and everything, and set us up. And then from then on, it was Bonnie joined us in '55, and then it was a trio for a long time. And it's just one thing after another. The good Lord opened a bunch of doors, and I walked in.
Hey, did you guys ever perform on the Louisiana Hayride? I know that was a big launching point for a lot of country music acts.
Oh, yes, we did. Whenever, we went to Louisiana, Shreveport, and we recorded our song, Looking Back to See. And Faber Robinson, the fellow that owned the record label at that time, he went to Horace Logan. Horace Logan was the manager of the Louisiana Hayride. And he told Horace, he said, these kids are going to be a hit, and you better sign them up right now before the Grand Ole Opry gets them. So he did, and we were at the Louisiana Hayride in '54 and part of '55 until we went to the Ozark Jubilee in '55.
Now, was there some competition between the Grand Ole Opry and the Hayride?
Oh no. Well, a lot of people, and myself included, thought that the Louisiana Hayride was kind of a stepping stone for the Grand Ole Opry. Okay. Although I don't think they thought that it was like that, but it turned out to be that because Jim Reeves left from the Hayride and went to the Opry. Jimmy C. Newman, Kitty Wells, Johnny and Jack, so many. Hank Williams, he just went from one to the other and back to the other, But the Louisiana Hayride was a great show, and it was in Shreveport, Louisiana. It drew people from KWKH was a radio station that served. It was directional, but it went all over the country. It was 50,000 watts, and it went down through Texas and all across the Gulf Coast, down through there, and all those areas. And but it drew a lot of people to the Hayride, and there was people like the Maddox brothers and Rose. They were there as regulars. As Jimmy, it was just a long list of people. Slim Whitman, I love Slim Whitman's yodeling. I had a dog that every time he'd yodel, the dog would yodel with him. But anyway, it was a great show, and a lot of people, you know. The other thing is the Louisiana Hayride. It lost so many people to the Grand Ole Opry that it couldn't sustain. And once I introduced Elvis Presley to Horace Logan after he started working with us, and when Elvis was there, it was a full house. When he wasn't there, got to the point where people wouldn't show up.
Huh.
That really hurt the Hayride. But anyway, it was a great show.
Well, when did you start going solo? Because I know you and your sisters recorded there for a long time, a bunch of major hits and stuff, and all of a sudden I started hearing just Jim Ed Brown.
Well, John, the Maxine Bonney retired in 1967. We started in 54 with our first song. In 1967, Bonnie and Maxine both, they had their families, and they, you know, and between the families, you know, needing them and all, it just got to the point where it was awfully hard for them to continue. And so they decided that, well, they would retire, but they talked Chet into letting me go ahead and continue recording on RCA. So that's whenever you started hearing solos by Jim Ed Brown, and that's when Papa Top came along and some of the others. Morning, Southern Lovin'.
Well, talk to me about this Papa Top song. You released that in 1967. How did you find the song, Jim Ed?
I was in Chet's office one day, and he was going through mail, and he come across this one piece of mail from Nat Stuckey. Nat Stuckey was a young man down in East Texas that had been recording and making some records, you know, and also writing some songs that, Loretta Lynn and Ernest Tubb recorded one of his songs, and some other people. But anyway, there was this package there, and Chet opened it up and looked at it, and it was an album, an acetate thing that, you know, with songs. And he said, take this home and listen to it, see if you can find anything in there that you might want to record. Well, I did. I took it home, and I found the song Papa Top. But I didn't think Nat had it recorded right. And I took it back to Chet and told him what I thought, and Chet said, well, let's see what's happening with it. And when he called Nat said, Chet, I hate to tell you this, but this is my next single. And Chet said, well, we can't record it because he won't give us a license for it. And we didn't do anything. And I said, well, we'll watch it for a couple of months here and see what happens. 2 months later, I went into Chet's office. I said, Chet, the song is not doing anything, but Nat, what do you say I record it? He said, well, they had just hired a young man to work there at RCA. He said, take Felton Jarvis and go down to Studio B and see what you can come up with. Well, the rest of it is history. You know the rest.
Man, oh man. You know, you might be the first artist I've ever talked to, and actually the first one that I've ever really paid attention to, Jim Ed, where you went, it's kind of like the reincarnation of Jim Ed Brown. You went from a group to a solo artist to a duo, and I'm talking about, you know who the lady is I'm talking about.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
1970s. How in the world did you meet up with Helen Cornelius and you guys start recording?
Oh, Lord, now that's another story. I'll tell you one story, but she'll tell you another.
Well, which one's the best one?
Well, the best one is the one I tell.
Okay.
She tells the truth.
I'd rather hear your version too, sir.
Well, I'll tell you what, John. Since we're talking here, I will tell you that you can find out from her come Saturday, November the 2nd, whenever she's in Sisseton, South Dakota with me.
Oh, no! Helen Cornelius is coming with you?
She will be in
Fantastic. I mean, not anything against you, Jim Ed.
Well, yeah, I know you like it. I know you. I know how you are.
Oh, mercy! Well, that's absolutely fantastic that she's coming with you, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys up here. Now, are you in the area to do some hunting as well, Jim Ed?
Pardon?
Are you coming to the area to do some hunting as well?
Well, I'm going to try to. I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to, but anyway, it's going to be kind of rushed for me if I do that. You know, the rest of the gang is going to be over in Redfield, and then also in Parker. But I don't know. I'm going to try to hunt a little bit. You know, I love to hunt.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, it kind of depends on the weather.
And in South Dakota, you never
weather,
know.
then you might not find me out there, hunting pheasants. Of course, you might find me anywhere if you want to know the truth about it. But yeah, I'll have my gun with me.
Well, sir, I know you have another appointment on here, so that you have to get to. I really appreciate the time this morning. And we're looking forward to seeing you on November 2nd in Sisseton. That's going to be the show that we're going to be at. And we look forward to seeing you up there and hearing you sing, hearing you and Helen. Now, are you guys be doing some solo stuff, then some duet stuff as well?
Yes, sir, we will. She'll be doing some solos, and I will be too, but we'll also be doing some duets. You know, John, let me just remind everybody that we are looking forward to coming up there and having a good time, and I hope that everybody, that can, will make their plans to come out and visit with us on a Saturday night, because it's going to be a good time. The band is, your band is going to be playing with us.
Yeah, Just Between Friends.
Yes.
Those guys are getting ready for it.
Well, I sure hope so. I hope so. I haven't told them who's coming yet.
Well, I'm sure they're listening to us this morning, so they're probably finding out themselves.
Well, I hope so, because we're looking forward to it.
Well, it should be a great time, Jim Ed. We can't wait to get a chance to meet you in person, sir, and hear you perform that night. Thanks for calling us. We really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, John.
Jim Ed Brown, country music legend, Grand Ole Opry member, just a fantastic guy all the way around. Great gentleman to visit with. And those tickets, by the way, are on sale around KDLO Country in Watertown and Webster. You can find them at the Cinex C stores in Watertown and Webster. In Sisseton, they're at K&K Convenience Store, the Cottage Restaurant, Teal's Market, and Johnson Office Suites. And the tickets are $25 each. The show will start at 7 o'clock on Saturday, November 2nd. Just Between Friends, with the opening act for Jim Ed Brown. And Friends is there at the System Performing Arts Center. The tickets are $25. Get yours. Get ready for a great night of music, entertainment, and humor and fun. Saturday, November 2nd in Sisseton.